What up, boys? It's Kaz, and welcome to the Warframe video. So, I know I talked about the Akarius a couple weeks ago with that Prime Fulmination video, and we're finally going to just do a build guide on it, and just overall how it works nowadays with a recent buff it actually got, which, you know, Prime Fulmination was not the only buff this thing got recently. It now has no arming distance on the rocket launchers when they actually are fired. So it used to be like they had to travel like a good 6, 7, 8 meters to blow up. Now they'll instantly blow up. You can just fire them right at the floor and they will stagger you like, you know, what's self-damage. So let's just quickly go over them and we'll have some gameplay as well. But before we get into it, make sure you sub to this YouTube channel and check out the Twitch channel. Hit that bell for notifications. Yeah, probably gonna do daily uploads here if I can just get around to it. So, alright, the Akarius. This thing is Gauss's signature weapon, and it has a couple things going for it. It also has a couple of problems. I'm not going to go ahead and say this is a perfect weapon at all, but let's just go over it. So this thing is MR8 required. It's going to drop from some Deimos enemies, the infested versions, I believe. And the description of this is pretty awesome. Bombard legions of enemies with targeted seeking rockets. These dual launchers reload faster while sprinting, and will reload even faster in Gauss's hands while sprinting. Rockets arm after reaching a safe distance. See, they buffed it and they didn't even change the description of this weapon. It no longer has an arming distance. So that is why this thing is better now. We've got 6% crit chance and 1.8 multiplier. Not crit viable at all. I mean, you could, of course, use the Darza and Harrow and all that garbage, but not really looking to do that. 4.25 fire rate. Honestly, pretty high fire rate for the amount of magazine you have here, as this thing has a 10 magazine, and pulling the trigger once fires 2 out of the 10 bullets out. So, you know, it is kind of cringe a little bit. We got 3.4 second reload, terrible reload speed, but of course it does get an increased reload speed while sprinting. And then you got 28% status chance. So if you jam some dual stat mods in here, you'll get a very high status chance, and you can proc lots of stuff with this AoE explosion. And we also have a 7.2 meter range. This is actually the highest explosion range of any secondary if you're not counting the charged static core shot. It's got impact damage when you hit with the rocket, and then the explosion has blast damage, which you can, of course, modify with your elements of choice. I've got a corrosive heat build, also a viral heat build. I've found those two to be the most useful. So let's just quickly show how this works. I believe we have no Riven on this setup currently, and it will one-shot level 180 infested, but, you know, that's not really saying much. Let's just summon some heavy gunners and some bombards and see how that goes. We'll start at level 50, because I really do feel like this is a weapon that is meant for low to mid levels, and if you start bumping up a little bit higher, it's not really like an absolute slayer like you probably want, but that's going to be the realm of melee weapons a lot of the time anyway. So let's just quickly give it a shot. This thing is also homing on the rockets, so let's just fire it off. As you can see, with one shot it killed some of them, and that's a large AoE. And then we have one of the mods on this build just entirely focused on blast radius and quality of life. No damage to speak of in that last slot. That's a primed mod in that slot as well. So, I know a lot of you guys say level 50 is cringe, and it's pretty bad, but, you know, just want to show you what, like, low-level content looks like before we bump it up a little bit here. And this is what we have. Viral and heat. Alright, we can do corrosive and heat. We have prime heated charge in here just because this thing has no crit, really. You don't need to put crit mods on this weapon. So, yeah, you can bump up the heat. It's pretty... It's actually higher weighted into heat than into viral, but that's okay because the heat procs actually do decent damage. Alright, let's bump up to level 100, and then we'll do 180, and then we'll throw on a Riven. So this thing actually has decent Riven dispo. We can even do a corrosive build if you guys would like to see that. So, also notice how we have low ammo magazine, or a low ammo pool on this thing. It is pretty low, honestly. They also did recently nerf, or bug fix, whatever you guys want to call it today, Arcane Pistolier, working on this thing on body shots. You used to proc Arcane Pistolier on body shot kills, and you'd have infinite ammo. That does not work anymore, and getting a headshot kill with this weapon is near impossible with the homing. The homing goes into the middle of the character model, and will not proc headshots nearly ever. Good luck getting a headshot, honestly. So, that was pretty good. Let's switch the viral build to a corrosive build just to see how that goes. And we are running 2 dual stats just because, like, you know, you want to bump up that status chance a good amount here. Auger Pack for additional damage because it doesn't really have any crit. I mean, I think with the Prime Crit mod, you get like 15%. I really would say it's not worth it. Something that would be worth it, though, is running a Pistol Ammo Mutation mod since it has such a low ammo pool. Maybe even, like, Trick Mag could be potentially okay here. It's basically ammo drum, but for secondaries. I'm just going to go with lethal momentum, so it's more closer to hit scan, because they do have some travel time on those projectiles. Let's also show the terrible reload speed without sprinting here. That's 3.4 seconds for you. You sprint, especially on Gauss, it will become much faster, and you can get rid of that tiny ammo pool even quicker. Alright, let's do level 100 with the corrosive build just to show how those do comparatively. Remove some armor, lots of heat procs there. Terrible reload, absolutely terrible reload. Now, the reason I think this thing is better now is because, like I said, Prime Firestorm makes this thing have a ridiculously high range. These rockets work, the damage stuff through walls, unlike every melee weapon in the game, which does not go through walls. And that is potentially really good. Although, you know what? I guess the Glaive Prime goes through walls, huh? How long until they nerf that, guys? Yeah, okay stuff here. This is also a decent condition overload procer if you have a way to prevent staggers through maybe Prime Sure-Footed. Gauss's if you're playing Gauss with this ability, Gauss's second ability, kinetic plating, that prevents staggers. So you'd be like, we're just like spamming rockets in our face, and we're not getting knocked over at all. They're all procced up, and then the slash procs annihilate them. So really good stuff there. Of course, if you're using a condition overload build, it will be something more along the lines of this second setup we have here, where it's a lot, like we have 129% status chance with my Riven mod, which is multi-shot status chance, toxin, and minus fire rate. But like I said, this thing has more fire rate than it actually needs, so that's not a terrible negative, honestly. But yeah, so let's just go into some gameplay here. I mean, it's pretty good. I didn't do level 180, but we can just knock that out at the end here. And then here are some opinions on this weapon to you guys. I'd say it is probably worth building. I mean, if you're bored and you're looking for stuff to do, here you go. Maybe you weren't using this thing before. There's also, like, I honestly, if you're going to be maxing out either Prime Firestorm or Prime Fulmination, I'd say max out Prime Firestorm and use it on the Kuva Ogress or the Kuva Tonkor or something like that over this. This is just basically if you're looking for something fun to mess around with. As you can see right here, I have Arcana Avenger proc on my Nova, and we're getting lots of yellow crits here. And it's killing this Kuva Flood in one shot, and it's basically killing the entire area in one shot. I would need to stack up my melee weapon to like get some Blood Rush stacks to even like one-shot these guys. So there is that, and it's doing this all with hardly any crits. I mean, there's some crits here and there with the Avenger, but yeah. So yeah, I'd say that's pretty good. Does have some problems, like I said. It's not a perfect weapon in the slightest. I'd say the Spore Laser secondary kit gun is going to be a better bet than this. Maybe if you want to focus more on stash chance on the Spore Laser, go like the second from the highest crit version, where it's going to have a decent amount of crit. Like, I'm going to be like around 85% crit chance. And it's not going to be 100% crit like the one that we showed in the video is, but it will, you know, it will crit nearly all the time. And it won't have that 0.2% chance to orange crit like the Haymaker Splat one, but, you know, whatever. Some other things, guys. We will be getting that Necromech event coming out here pretty soon. I'm not really holding my breath on it being extremely fun, but we'll see. Honestly, you might not even need a fully maxed out Necromech to have a good amount of time, a good time there. But who knows? Maybe the more min-maxed your Necromech is, the faster you can kill those sentients. I guarantee if there's a way that we can do it with actually still using the Warframes, not the Necromechs, we'll have to figure that out and then utilize that, because, you know, Necromechs are kind of slow. You can't use Operator like and dash around in Necromechs. That's a huge part of the fast mobility in this game. If you have a fully maxed out Operator and all that. So yeah, that's going to be basically it. Like I said, this thing has high Riven Disposition, and I honestly could just see it getting buffed Riven Disposition because it's really not a meta weapon at all. That's what the gameplay looks like. I mean, it clears out the entire area in one shot. I mean, what do you want from me, honestly? So here is the Riven mod I have with 3 stats, 126% multi-shot. So it's stronger. It's basically barrel diffusion, but a little bit stronger, with also status chance, toxin, and minus fire rate. So you could get multi-shot, damage, toxin, and then minus whatever, plus recoil. And the homing will offset the plus recoil, so it won't even matter. And this thing will probably be hitting around like 7,000 damage, I guess, without even critting. So that's pretty good. I'd say that's relatively decent. Oh, we already were fighting at level 180s. Well, here you go. This is with a Riven mod. Pretty good stuff, honestly, with no crits. Like, that is not bad. That is not bad at all. Of course, getting knocked over is pretty bad. Yeah, this thing is good on Mirage as well, so you can clear out, like, it won't be a Steel Pass Slayer, to be honest, but if you're doing, like, Kuva Floods, there you go. This is faster than melee for Kuva Floods. And, you know, it's also a rocket launcher, which is always kind of fun. So yeah, guys, I will talk to you next time. Hope you found this video helpful. Take it easy, and peace.